Yesterday I saw All Quiet on the Western Front, the new remake or adaptation of that old war story. A really well-made film, really good film. A little bit of it's a war movie, and I have seen the formulas that it uses quite often in some other war movies. But for what it is, I mean, using those old pieces, like, it puts them together really nicely. Like, it's still a really impressive film. It's a really impressive, engaging film. And for a film of that length, I wasn't checking out nearly as much as I usually do. I don't want to spoil the movie too much, and this isn't really a spoiler for the movie, because it's a real life fact that at the end of World War I, there was a period of time when they said that they were gonna like stop fighting at this hour, but in the hours leading up to it, they still fought, and nobody could really make sense of why. I mean, you could probably figure out some reasons, if you asked. If you look at the records, like the individual accords of the people who were, key players in this war. But it is just very interesting. They fight right up until they hear this trumpet, this arbitrary time for a ceasefire, and everybody just stops. Everybody just stops and walks away. Like, people that were like just about to kill each other, as soon as you hear the trumpet, oh, okay, just put my weapon down. So interesting. So interesting. And it got me thinking about, I feel like that's how conflict works with me, at least. Like any kind of conflict I can think of. Any sort of, especially turmoil, like bitterness, deep indulgence in my nastiest thoughts about people in the world. It's a raging battle. It is a raging, bloody, violent, crazy battle that's very harrowing and takes no prisoners. Just can be absolutely ruthless. Doesn't show any empathy, any human compassion. Because it's like it's not allowed to via its own rules. This mechanism, this bitter mechanism in my brain. But then whatever the internal struggle is that I'm having, there just comes a time, an arbitrary time, when a trumpet goes off and it just doesn't bother me so much anymore. I just kind of let go of it. Put down my weapon. Okay, well, let's just walk through the world now. And the trumpet has not sounded for all of my internal struggles, like by a long shot. But it has sounded for a lot of things. And I mean, maybe the trumpet thing is not a great analogy, because that's noticeable. Like a loud trumpet, everybody hears it. There's a big announcement with my, I don't even know what to call it at this point. I keep saying all these different things for it. With my little angry monster. When he stops fighting me, when I don't indulge in it anymore, it's usually unconscious. I don't even realize that like something doesn't bother me as much as it used to anymore. But then I just think about that thing and I'm like, remember when I was thinking about that thing constantly and how much that made me mad? How much that upset me? How much that made me feel hopeless and hurt? I just thought about it for the first time in a long time, and hey, that doesn't hurt so much anymore. What's going on there? I did a lot of unconscious healing, or subconscious healing. I don't even know what to call it. It's funny because you rack your brain with all these internal struggles that you have, banging your head against the wall, trying so hard to get over it. And it just keeps stirring it up. I like what Alan Watts said. It's like trying to smooth water with a flat iron. You just disturb it all the more. I don't have the solution. I mean, I think the cliche thing to say that I think is about as true as I can get is that it's just about letting those negative feelings be there and acknowledge that they're there, but then making a conscious choice to focus in a different direction, to bring up some alternate possibilities for why this doesn't have to be as upsetting as I'm making it. Yeah, it's not. It's if it is a trumpet. You know, we say like the I'm playing you a song on the world's smallest violin. Well, maybe I'm playing myself a little trumpet of ceasefire on the world's smallest horn.